So I'm one of a handful of community members that got a comic capsule. Let's see what I can add to the conversation.
Boo! You suck!
What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector. I'm your host, BTC, bringing you bottom tier content from a bottom tier collector. And today I got a top tier product in the mail. I was selected also, alongside other members of the community. I know Rob's Fat Stacks, Collecting with Durs, Sticky Goose Comics, and Vinlar, who's largely on Instagram. I know Vinlar makes the jumps to YouTube and co-hosts a stream with somebody in the community. I know his face. I'm subscribed to the guy, but I can't remember his name. But yeah, check out any of those people's content. I will try to link them in the description below. If anybody else in the community got a comic capsule, sorry, I'm forgetting your name. I'm not going to do a complete review. I mean, it's a plastic case that encapsulates your comic books. You got the slab. I mean, well, let me just bring it out. So here it is, the comic capsule, and the way you'll open it up is, I thought you had to flip back. I thought it was like on a hinge, but in fact, you'll pop it open and it has a little bend crease here. So you'll bend it and your book like so fits in there. Currently, my issue is not in a bag and board. It was in a poly bag and board. And if swimming, and for those of you new to the community or new to this terminology, swimming is where you have a little bit of room for your comic book to move around in the bag. Hence the term swimming. It's swimming around in your bag, right? Free floating almost. If you don't have a poly bag and board, your current era, so copper age, kind of early 80s, all the way to now, 2023, 2024, fixed to be 2024. Those books will swim in your comic capsule if you don't have them in a poly bag and board. So yeah, I want to get this on camera. I'll be right back. I want to show you guys what it looks like trying to put a comic with Mylar in here. Alright guys, so I got Sandman #1 here. Pretty expensive comic book, the most valuable book in my collection, so obviously this would be a natural choice for something I'd put in a comic capsule, right? Well, I want to show you guys, I want to show you guys how it looks putting, Mylar, and you can't do it. I'd literally have to cut the bag to fit it in there. And so that's something to keep in mind. I feel like that's something I can add to the conversation. If you are already neck deep into Mylar, you like displaying books in Mylar, maybe this isn't for you. I do like this over top loaders. Now, top loaders, obviously, they're so wide that you can fit the Mylar and a fullback, E-Gerber fullback Mylar in a top loader, but it's still swimming around in there. And they're cheap. Look at that. I mean, it's my only top loader and it's damaged. I hate the way they look. They're really susceptible to getting scratched. And I doubt top loaders have the UV protection. I don't think they do. Comic Capsule claims to have UV resins in their plastic, so you're getting UV protection, and that's great because sun rays are bad for your collectibles. They're bad for a lot of things, really, but especially if you're collectibles that just sit around, they're stagnant, and they collect a lot of UV light from your sun rays. Do whatever you can. Use LEDs in your ceiling, put blackouts on your windows, and use UV protected cases on your comic books. Top loader, comic capsule. You can't put Golden and Silver Age into these comic capsules. They're just not the right size. However, you can put Bronze Age in here. And this is without, now Bronze Age without the bag and board. And this is a 15 center. So at least 15 cent. I think every time the price changes, the books in the Bronze Age change size. From like the 60s to the early 80s, comic books are just constantly changing sizes. So that's why the bag industry, the comic bag industry, just has like a standard that it's kind of a one size fits all for all your Bronze Age and early Copper Age books. And so this kind of does the job here as well. I believe at least with 15 cents and younger, if that's the right terminology, it will fit great, snug in your comic capsule. I mean, if I'm like gonna violently shake it, it does swim just a hair. I mean, it does fall. It does fall out of, there's a little bit of room here. But other than that, it looks fantastic, and I feel like the main purpose of these is for display purposes, not necessarily for storage purposes. I don't know if it'd be practical to use these to store with, and people store CGC books. I get it. And I know there's going to be people out here that buy these to store. So collect how you want to collect it. You want to use these to store, you can. And there's much less plastic than a CGC slab or CBCS or any slab, really. And while we're on that note, I'll come right back and I'll demonstrate if this can fit in a short box or not. Alright guys, so got my short box open here. Got my comic capsule here. I'm just going to find this little gap here and slide her on down, and just so you guys can verify, it does fit all the way down for a nice snug fit, and it does indeed close neatly. There's no, it's not closing like that. Nobody wants that. Another thing I'd like to show, I haven't tested this out actually. Pulled me out another book here. Maybe my new 52 Week 12 is trying to get in a comic capsule. They do stack. Yeah, and you can see they're stacked right here. And they don't like clip on or anything, so you could easily, you can easily take them back apart. But they do stack, they're stackable if you want to do that. Or if you want them like this in your bag, they interlock. So that kind of helps reduce, waste of space. I will also demonstrate, this is my current comic book in a poly bag. So we demonstrated Mylar in a full bag. Here is just a regular bag and board. Remember to pop this open, and you'll probably want 2 thumbs for this. It was kind of making me sketch, feeling a little resistance there with 1 thumb there in the middle. So that's what we look like with a poly bag and board, and there's absolutely no swimming whatsoever with a poly bag and board. I don't even, it almost, in my opinion, it's almost like these were made for you to put a poly bag and board in your comic capsule. I mean, it's just, I can see the poly going almost to just filling every last little bit of space. The exact, like the gap between the top of the book and the top right here before you get to the lid is the exact dimensions almost of the cardboard and the bag. So maybe that's what it's designed to do. Something I would also like to point out that you won't be able to tell with a comic book in. So on the front side, it does look cloudy, but I promise on the front side, and you saw with the comic book in here, it's crispy clean. It's just like a Mylar. I mean, it's got Mylar clarity, but on the back here is not clear. So I do want to let you guys know that the back is not clear. It is cloudy. It is murky. So if you were thinking about using this for a wraparound cover, I don't know. I personally don't think this is the best option for you. You might just want to go with a Mylar and a clear board. Those are now a thing. Clear, I mean, with Mylar clarity, clear boards, you couldn't even tell it's in your bag. So if there's one suggestion I can make, Comic Castle, if you watch this, maybe come out with like comic, maybe have something for the wraparound cover people that, where you have the same clarity on the front panel, you have it on the back panel. There, got through it. That was a bit of a struggle. And you also have, it's hook ready. So, I mean, definitely if you want to put a nail in your wall and display it that way, you can do that. Let's see, what else do I want to say? Here's what it looks like in a stand. So if you have a shelf or something, that's what it looks like in a stand. I don't have another stand with me, but there you go. There's my two comic capsules. I don't know if I have labels in my PR box, but they do have labels if you want to label your comic books. They have adhesive labels for that, or you can just get a label maker and save yourself a little money. I don't know if it's an upcharge or not to get the labels. I don't know my pricing, so I'm going to recommend any of the people that I shouted out earlier and will have in the description. I would recommend watching their videos on the product. I'm sure that they did their homework a little more and provided pricing. I think it's $10 a capsule, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's $10 for a 5-pack or something. I don't necessarily know the price. But yeah, I think this is a game changer. This is something for me. Final thoughts and opinions. I hope this is just the start. I hope that they branch into magazine size, Silver Age, Golden Age size. Maybe they come out with a special capsule for the wraparound cover people. But I just really like my comic bags and boards like I like my wife's jeans. I like them snug and tight. I do not like all that swimming around. I don't like that much space in between my comic book and the edge of my bag, or my comic book and then the edge of a slab. I hate that about the CGC, CBCS, PGX, Halo, EGS, all of them. The slab in general, I hate the way there's just like that much plastic around your comic book. I do not like that at all. It's wasted space. It makes the cost of the slab go up because it's more material. I see no reason. There's no purpose for a slab to need to be that big. There's no reason to need a bag to a bag and a board to be this much bigger than your comic book. I just hate all that swimming stuff. I want it to be snug. I don't want a lot of room in my bags and boards. It's just how I like it. I'm kind of anal about it. I'll be real. I will disclose that. It is a pet peeve of mine. Just all the extra plastic and room that all these other products have for comic books. This is a game changer for me. I think I'm not 100% certain yet. I still love my Mylar. I'm in the process of swapping out all my poly bags and boards to Mylar full bags, even my dollar books. I don't care. I don't want to have to check my books every 5 years. And in the process, because my collection is now 10 years old, some of my books have been in my collection for 10 years. I'm now being in the process of swapping books out. I'm seeing stuff that I swapped out 5 years ago start to need to be replaced, let alone stuff I've never swapped out ever. So that's why I'm going to Mylar. I'm just tired of having to wonder how much of the inks are going into the bag, how dirty and wrinkly the poly is getting. I'm just tired of that fight. So I'm still on the Mylar fullbacks train, but for display purposes, I'm really leaning this route because I get the UV protection. I get the plastic case, the hard plastic case of a slab. But you know what I can do that you people out there with slabs can't do? I can pop it open. I can pull out the book and I can read it. I understand why slabs exist. I'm totally fine with slabs existing. I'm totally fine with people that collect and buy slabs. I sound like an anti-slabber, but I'm really not. Everything I've said in this video is obviously personal preference. It's the way I like to collect, and I don't like to slab books. And now this product finally gives me it's just finally the answer to everything I was reluctant about with slabbing comic books. It's just everything I could want. Maybe in the future they find a more sleeker way, to have the lid or whatever. But for now, it works for me. And when you have over 2,000 comic books, it's not practical to put everything in a comic capsule. That's what I was trying to say. But again, beating that display horse, definitely on board with that. And I also, I've been, because I'm a signature hunter, as we call them, signature chaser. That's the main reason I go to conventions is for autographs. If you buy these and you have the store folios from BCW, see if they fit your store folios. I have a store folio, but it's downstairs, and I just thought of this. Carrying purposes, if you're at a convention, I like this so much more than just bags and boards in a store folio. This gives, added security, an added layer of protection to my comic books at a convention, in my backpack, jiggling around with all the other figures and comics and video games and whatever else I bought is in that backpack. I don't have to worry about damaging my books in a store folio because, again, they don't swim around. So that is all I got today. I didn't really want to do a full review. Didn't want to go through the whole gamut of details and specs for these things. I mean, is it a slab killer? No, and I don't think it's trying to be a slab killer. I think it's trying to be a top loader killer is what it's trying to be. I like top loaders for cards, but I just don't like them for comics for some reason. They don't look good being on display. I haven't noticed anybody on YouTube displaying comics in a top loader. They're usually just tucked away in a box. So, yeah, you get, especially if you're a top loader guy, this is where you want to go. I would sway all top loader people to go this route. You slab people, you'll just have to decide. Your mileage may vary, just up to you and your personal preference if Comic Capsule is right for you if you're a slabber. If you're someone on the fence about slabbing or to go Comic Capsule, you just ask yourself, do I really care that much about reading a physical comic book when I can get a trade paperback or an omnibus or get the digital version? Do I really need to be able to pull a book out? Does that really matter to me? Does the fact that a slab is going to increase the value of my comic book? Probably somewhere between 10% and however much more percent, depending on the comic book. It seems like you get an automatic 10% at least boost in the value of your book if you slab it, and you won't get any boost in value if you put it in a Comic Capsule. So those are things to think about, the value of your comic book in a capsule versus a slab. The ability to open and read it, display purposes. What do I think looks more appealing on display? Just ask yourself those questions. Maybe you'll find out that this product might be for you. Maybe it won't be for you. Thank you guys for watching. Finally got this video out. I feel bad to Comic Capsule. They sent me this product. Full disclosure, this product was sent to me for the faux free. I did do a little bit of research on Comic Capsule. I went to their Instagram and then I went to their website and I kind of read up on what the heck this is. I even watched Sticky Goose video before I talked or responded to Comic Capsule. And I was going to turn Comic Capsule down if this was something I didn't believe in, but this is most definitely something I believe in. One last thing I would say is I've been on the fence about the slab it yourself skins, and this just totally, I'm no longer interested in the slab it yourself skins because just the sleek design of this. There's no ugly hinges here. There's no the slab it yourself skins flip up like that and they snap on. There's none of that crap. I love this design. Comic Capsule really just, they blew me out of the park with this product. I'm a believer. I'm going to, any book that goes on my wall is probably more than likely going to be in a Comic Capsule for sure. Thank you, Comic Capsule, for the free PR box. Thank you to anyone interested in this that stopped by the channel. I hope I added to the conversation and didn't drone on and on with stuff everybody else is saying. And that'll do me for this time, guys. Till next time.